like how our service operates to a degree, so a customer understands what
That's fine.
kind of the expectation. When you call us, what you get.
We're live.
Right, I figured that.
Okay.
How we doing out there?
We heard.
Yeah.
We're going to give everybody a few minutes to get logged on here. And we're going to discuss amongst ourselves some info. But go ahead and continue on with what you were saying.
I was just saying that in lieu of the plumbing questions every week, I think that we should share some information with our customer base on maybe sometimes what to expect from us, or, you know, where maybe we could get better. That would always be a good thing too, get some positive feedback.
So let's propose it to the audience. What do you think? Right?
That's exactly
What do
right.
you think?
That's why we're here.
Do you want to keep listening to questions, or do you want to discuss other items? We're open.
Absolutely.
We have vast knowledge.
Or we can discuss like nightmare situations that have come up for our own customers.
That does happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some bad stuff.
A lot of people don't see it, but we see it. That's good. Okay, so do we want to get into some questions? We ready?
I'm ready.
Ursula, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm waiting on you guys.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sounds great. Let's get it. Well, first of all, we're here from Nick's Plumbing. This is Richard Sod. I'm John Eccles.
You sure?
Yeah, you're Richard.
Yeah.
I'm John. That's right.
Okay.
You had me thinking that I said it backwards. So we're here for our weekly live Facebook chat to go over a few questions that our customers send in. Starting off with a pretty creative one that we actually get quite a bit in the office. What creates a banging noise in my house? Quotations, pipe rattling, from Tiffany. So Richard, I'll let you take that one.
I've never even heard of that before. I've been doing this 20 years. I've never heard that.
That's a first.
That's a first. Uh-oh. No, I'm just kidding. This is actually a common occurrence. And this happens a lot more than what you guys think. What it is basically, in simplistic terms, is a hard shut-off. So when you're in the kitchen, somebody's in the bathroom, and you hear a banging noise, that's basically pipe that's reverberating through the attic and creating that noise and hitting against wood. So how does that kind of look, and how do you fix that? I mean, that's a really complicated scenario, a pipe banging in the attic and creating that banging noise. And again, it's due to a hard shutoff. So what creates a hard shutoff? That's what you got to figure out first. Dishwasher, washing machine, ice maker could create that. Roman tub faucets are notorious for that because they run a high volume of water in a big tub.
Absolutely.
And then when you shut that off quickly yourself, instead of it automatically shutting off like a washing machine, you'll create it doing that, or could. So what's a solution for that? There's a few. There's not just a standard answer. You can go install what they call water hammers, and those hammers are basically extra piping that you put into the system, and that will it's an air chamber that will allow it to go up into that chamber and not reverberate through the piping system. Now, another one that could be creating it is a rubber garment in either a hose bib outside or a faucet that you're using, is allowing that water to vibrate, or a toilet, and it's allowing that water to vibrate, and it's shaking the pipe in the attic as well. So it's a process of elimination, and you basically have to turn everything off in the house, and you just start with one item at a time. But we've been doing it a long time, so we pretty much know. So we might not shut off everything in the house. We might start testing a different way. But if you're going to do it as a homeowner, you want all the shut-off valves off in the house, and then you open one up, and then you just start testing it that way. And if that's not creating it, then you leave that one on, you go to the next one, and you turn that one on and do that until you can recreate that scenario. Then you figure out how to fix it once you figure out which one's creating that. Anything you want to add?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Get it? Water hammer.
Yeah, you're funny.
Yeah.
All right, our second question comes from Kelly. When I go on vacation, should I turn the water off to my house? Okay.
Why would you?
It's not a necessity. It's really not. You don't have to. But I will tell you from a personal experience, this happened to me probably about 15 years ago, right? I go on vacation, just a little weekend trip, nothing major. I come home and the supply line under my kid's lavatory sink had burst. So I came home to...
That's expensive.
Yep. I had to call my insurance company. I
Ooh.
came home to a lot of water everywhere.
That's expensive.
It was not a fun situation.
Hey, and guess what? This is what people don't know. When that happens, if you had a company, let's call it, like a handyman, and not a professional plumbing company, do that install,
I'm getting denied.
you could easily get denied on that insurance claim.
Absolutely.
And people don't know that, how important it is to use a professional plumbing company. You know, the state of Texas, this is not an option. It's a requirement that we have all these licenses along with all these different types of insurance, so you're covered. And the insurance company will look for that. So they're going to figure out, okay, who installed that supply line? Because they, of course, don't want to pay for it. And then if you can't prove up who installed the supply line, it's going to be a fight, or at least it could be. You know, I've seen insurance companies deny it if you didn't have an invoice proving up who put it in.
Right.
But it's been in for 20 years, Mr. Insurance. I don't know. Well, there's your argument.
Yeah.
Just sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Right.
But continue on.
So it's not a necessity. You don't have to do it. But for a peace of mind, depending on the length of your stay that you're going to be away, it's not a bad idea. And it's really simple to do. The only thing that you need to know is where is the main water shut off to the house, which is normally located on your main water riser going into the home. If you don't find it there, you can even go out to the water meter and shut it off there.
Or how about shutting it off at the stop?
Yeah, or at the stop. Each
Underneath the
yeah,
lavatory.
yeah, each individual one.
Yeah.
Once you shut it off, you can drain it if you want. Depending again on how long your stay is going to be away, you can drain the system.
We're talking about the water bursting underneath the lavatory still?
No, just when you go on vacation. When you go on vacation, right? The whole entire system.
Okay.
So you can drain the system through an outside hose bib to get all the cold water out, just in case something does happen. Because unfortunately it does, and I was a victim of it. I've actually had a friend that kind of had the same situation. But that can save you a lot of things. If you don't know where those shutoffs are and you want to know where they are, very easily you can call us and we can send someone out to take it. As a matter of fact, where's our VIP thing? We don't have it up, but our VIP membership actually includes that. So if you want to call and get some information about that, we can definitely help you locate your main water shutoff so you're prepared.
We actually had, this hit close to home. We had one of our senior level technicians that this happened to. His toilet supply line broke. Now, they weren't out of town, but the toilet supply line broke on the upstairs, and it ran for 6 hours on a 50-pound water line, and it did about 80 grand worth of damage. That was really bad. And that can happen, but it can happen whether we're in town or out of town. But
Yeah.
When we go out of town, personally, I think it is important, especially if you have an older home, piping hasn't been updated, you haven't changed out your supply lines in 15, 20 years. It is a good idea because they do get weak. And in saying that, what you guys need to think about is you do need to replace those shutoffs and supply lines about every 10 years.
Yeah.
And if you do that, maybe you don't need to shut the water off to the house. But it's always a good idea, especially when your material is older, to shut off that house before you go out of town.
What is an easy way for a customer to get that checked out?
Well, you can
I'm pushing
hire us.
I'm pushing for a little plug right here.
You can hire us, right?
Do we offer that service?
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, we do inspections all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't we just roll out something like that?
It's the VIP plan.
VIP
Ah, the
membership.
VIP.
The VIP. That's our VIP
plan.
membership plug for the week.
That's it.
Yeah, for $149, you get the whole house inspection. We'll come out. We'll make sure that you're not facing one of those potential dangers. Plus, you get all sorts of benefits through the year: 10% off of any repairs, priority service, extended warranties. So it's a good little deal. If you're interested in that, just give us a call at the office at 713-868-9907, and we can get you set up with one of those.
Do you mean we're not going to be like a lot of these companies in town, like a taillight drive-out warranty?
Absolutely not. We get warranties on almost everything we do.
Okay. Just making sure. I think that's important too.
All right. So, third question of the day, right? Coming from Timmy. Timmy wants to know, what are the benefits? What are the benefits between the tank versus tankless water heaters? He's heard a lot of talk about the tankless. Matter of fact, me and him, had a conversation a little bit back and forth. So he wants to know, what are the true benefits of the tankless versus the tank style water heaters?
Well, we could go on for an hour.
Yeah, let's just give him the top. And again, I've conversated with him when I saw this question come in a few times, but I thought it was worthy of getting it on the air to tell some of our little. So let's just hit the top 2 or 3 things.
So I'm just going to do the bullets.
Yep, bullet it.
I'm going to bullet it.
The guns.
Okay. So tanks or a vessel.
Or a vessel.
In Texas, most of them go into the attic. The issue with that is none of our material lasts forever, including vessels.
That's right.
So eventually this thing is going to give out. And when it gives out, it's not going to be pretty when it is in the attic. Most of the time that pan cannot retain the water that it starts relieving out of that vessel.
Oh, especially if it's big enough.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a $60,000 problem real quick? That could happen real quick.
Absolutely.
Especially in all these new 3-story jobs around here.
Yeah.
So the water heater is actually in the 4th story.
That's right.
So what a tankless does is it gets rid of that vessel. It is an on-demand system. So you're taking a vessel with 40, 50 gallons worth of water in it, completely doing away with that, and you are putting a pass-through system in, because all it is in a tankless unit is just piping. So the water is rushing through that piping as the burner is fired up, and it's heating the water to that temperature you're demanding, and then delivering it to your shower or faucet or kitchen or wherever you are demanding that.
What about life expectancy?
Life expectancy is a big one. Manufacturers, according to Houston, is north of 20 years. And what I tell people is if you put a descaling system on the entire house or a point of use descaler for that unit, you're going to get a lot more than that. Compared to a tank unit. Tank units, you're going to get average in Houston 7 to 10. You need to throw them away at 10, no matter what. Because remember, it's a vessel. It's holding that water for 10 years. Eventually, something is going to give out. And you don't want to deal with that, I promise. And in fact, that actually happened to me about 10 years ago.
We got a lot of bad stories.
Yeah. So I actually had a tank water heater in my house. It decided to break, but it just didn't break. It broke really bad. And when I got home from work, and it was almost 8 o'clock at night, I got home, water is screaming down my driveway. So I've got personal experience with that, and I guarantee you don't want that.
And what was the life expectancy on the tankless? Did you say it? I missed it.
Tankless is north of 20.
Yeah, so it's double.
Double.
Yes.
And what I would tell you is you're going to get a lot more than that.
Right.
I think the manufacturers are conservative.
Well, and for people that missed last week, we talked about the maintenance of water heaters. Obviously, these life expectancies need to be maintained in order to get the max out of those units. Either one, tank or tankless, right?
Right.
Yeah, you need to make sure they're maintained.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the tankless unit. I think they're great.
They are. They're efficient.
Yep.
You're not. Your burner is not burning all the time. It's an on-demand system. On that tank unit, when you and I are at work, it's firing up and down all day.
Yeah, it has that internal
That's wear and tear all day.
Yep.
On that system. So I'm a big fan. I've had a tankless in my house for, let's see, it's 12 years now. I wouldn't be without one.
Since the last one burst?
No, Yeah, well, yeah, that's when my tank broke.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was actually excited that my tank broke. When my tank broke, it was only 6.
Wow.
Yeah, and it broke really bad. I mean, like I don't know if I've seen one that was worse than this, but it was bad. And so 12 years ago is when I put in a tankless, and I have never had an issue.
Okay.
But of course, I keep mine clean, and that's also important. You guys have to maintenance items. It's just like your air conditioning. It's just like your car. Those items need maintenance. So as long as you're providing that piece of equipment maintenance, you're going to get the life out of it.
Right. So bullet points: tank versus tankless, efficient, endless hot water, life expectancies expected to be double of the tank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So man,
Yeah.
good all the way around.
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got?
Anything else on you
Did
that you want to add to it?
We got the producers behind us telling us the viewers. Did we
And
ever?
they're really like,
Did we ever hit 10?
We had 9 people watching. We have a few people, still 7 people watching, but nobody's asking questions. So maybe
We're done here
we
until next week.
Maybe we say hello to the people
Everybody.
that are watching, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody,
Thank y'all
thank
for
you for
tuning
tuning in.
We're
It's
gonna-
very important for us, and we appreciate your time.
And
And I
please
hope that
continue-
we answered some questions maybe that you might have had. And if not, call the office, 713-868-9907.
And please continue to send in the questions, because if we miss something that you're wanting to hear about, we definitely want to be able to discuss it with you. All right.
We have a question. They want to know how to maintain a tank water heater.
Same thing that you would do it on tankless, but a little bit different. So I'll give you the short version of that. If you put in a tank water heater today, you should be maintaining it every single year after your install date. The way that you do that is you need to drain the system, drain that vessel, and you need to take that burner assembly out and clean it. And by cleaning, meaning we can do that if it hasn't gone on too long and it's not that dirty. You can do it with compressed air. But that's what you need to do every single year. Now, what I would tell you not to do is if your tank unit is over 3 years old, I would not drain that tank anymore. The problem is our water in Houston is not that hard, but when you let it accumulate into a vessel, i.e. your tank water heater, over an extended period of time of 3 years, that it becomes sludge and you're going to get mineral deposits. And those deposits are going to form rocks, which you cannot get out of that system. You're taking a great risk when you try to drain it, and you're going to get some sludge out. You'll get some of those mineral deposits out. But then what will happen is you'll start throwing through the hot water side sludge and mineral deposits, and it'll start hitting your toilets and your faucets. And you want to talk about a problem, then you're going to have to call me to come in and start taking faucets apart to be able to clean these faucets to get these rocks out of them.
Right.
You don't want to do it. That gets expensive. And what we're trying to avoid is you doing it yourself so you don't have any expense. So you guys, if your water heater is 3 or older, I would not drain it, but you can maintenance that burner assembly, but just don't drain it. I hope that helps. And the way you drain it, which I didn't explain, is you get a hose, and I'm glad I just popped in my head on that. You get a hose, and on the very bottom of the tank, you've got a connection for that water hose.
Right.
You can run it wherever your system is located, or your hot water heater, is located. Run that water hose either to a bathtub, a shower, or out a window, and drain it that way.
Good to know.
Excellent.
And that's it.
That's it for this week.
Yeah.
So we'll see them next week, next Thursday, 11 o'clock.
Next Thursday, same time,
Let's end
same
with a joke.
place.
Let's end with a joke. Tell us a joke.
Okay. What did the tie say to the hat? You go on ahead, I'll hang around.
Okay.
We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was awesome. Hey, that was really quick.
No, it wasn't.
That was
We're 20
good.
minutes.